Let's try this thing again. Let's see if if it doesn't, it just doesn't. We'll just roll with it. For some reason I'm not live on the good old Twitter, but at least it's not showing up as me being live. But whatever. I'm on YouTube. I'm on the top. Let's go. So the Super Bowl. I thought it was what I expected. As I said last week on the locker, um, Wednesdays 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seattle had the best football team in football for, I would say, at least week 10 on. And New England snuck in. Things had to happen for New England to get in. No disrespect, because they still had to take advantage of the situation they were in. But offensively, they was outmatched. And you know a team is outmatched when McDonald basically was like, we just gonna take the three. Bad Bunny made me. I'm gonna say this, John. I'm not a John. You have watched me long enough. First of all, I have the game on mute. Second of all, when the halftime show goes on, I have not watched. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched a halftime show since I was a kid. I didn't watch the Dr. Dre one. I didn't see the Prince one. Um, I haven't watched a halftime show since probably I was like 9 or 10, maybe. It's just not for me. But so I hear you, John, but I can't chime in because I didn't watch it. Not the first, it won't be the last. That's just not mine. Never watched it. So but with that said, it was it was a game where you had two, as I said, leading up to the week on other shows, that it was just you had two great defensive coaches with 2 weeks to prepare. You knew it was going to be tough on the offenses. You had one offense that had everything: good offensive line, elite running back, good quarterback, elite receiver. New England had none of that. They did not have. They had a good quarterback, but not an elite running back, not an elite receiver. That was just the difference. And Seattle was able to do enough offensively to win the game. That was basically what McDonald knew he had to do, was just do enough offensively, because they were going to shut down New England defense. I mean New England's offense, because they had nothing to threaten them. To be honest with you, I never understood why the Super Bowl had to have a spectacle of halftime. That's a good one. When did they start doing that? To me, I understand it. It's like when I was a kid, I went through all of the. I went to, man, until I was in middle school, probably, or maybe high school. No, I was in high school. I went to every Southern University football game, home and away. You know what? I shouldn't say everyone. The ones I did not go to was the ones in at Mississippi Valley State. All the rest of them I went to. Went to Texas, went to Jackson, Mississippi, went to all the home and away games. And a halftime show was everything. Anything else? I just was not a halftime show guy. Um, that was my time to go get something to eat, drink, talk with the family. Because here's another thing, as y'all know, I have the volume on mute. I also watch the games by myself. Ever since when I was able to watch game by myself when I was a kid, obviously you have to watch with your parents, with a group of people, blah blah blah. But when I became able to watch games by myself, I don't like to hear other people's banter. It's meaningless. You don't know shit. So it's like I don't need to hear your bullshit take on things that happen in the game. I just don't. So that's just me. Go Big Blue. You know that, Jordan. Appreciate you. So I thought the game was good, man. As I said on the locker last Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a defensive game is a good game. It doesn't a defense a game does not make it an ugly game when everybody execute. Jordan, I was at UK 93 to 97. I was there during the Bill Curry years. My senior year was the year Bill Curry got fired. Hey. So, here's the deal. I saw something online, and we're going to talk about this for a minute. And I really like Chase Daniels. I think he's very good. Like I like Kurt Warner. I was in training camp with Kurt Warner when he became the Kurt Warner. When Trent Green went down because Rockne Harrison cheap shot him in the knee during the preseason game in St. Louis. I was there on the field. I got my first interception that game. That's crazy. First NFL interception in that game. So I like Kurt Warner. Dan Orlovsky, I like him to a point. I think Chase Daniels is better at breaking down. However, I'm going to show you something that Chase Daniels made a mistake in. And he's right in the whole analysis of this series of plays except the last play. So I'm going to play it for you.
Klint Kubiak is an absolute genius. He's been setting this touchdown up from play one of the Super Bowl. All right, this is the very first play of the game. Klint Kubiak's an offensive genius. Look at this. He's been setting up the touchdown pass that Sam Darnold had from play one. There's 2 tight ends, 3 receiver side. It looks to me like the Patriots might be in too high.
But let me stop it there and say he's exactly right. I want y'all to pay attention to look at where. Oh, why is that so small? Look at where. Let me change that. Look at where this corner is. Man, everything is thrown off a little bit. Look at where that corner is. All right, look at where he is. He's off the receiver.
But they end up rolling down to single high. This safety has flat control. Watch how fast this safety flies up into the line, leaving just the corner right there to keep.
The safety flies up, y'all. I want to give y'all some defensive side because here's the thing. Offenses knows enough about defense, but they also don't know the intricacies, some of them. All right. Look where the ball is on the line. Look where the line of scrimmage is. Line of scrimmage is a little bit, it's based on the 35, right? Or is that the 45? 45, 35. Ball's on 35. What that safety is reading is,
it looks to me like the Patriots might be.
What that safety is reading is lineman downfield. All right? Boom. In NFL, they make it easier for defensive backs to understand run and pass. Because the margin, the buffer for linemen to go down the field is 1 yard. This guy right here, as a safety, if you're reading your keys, knows it's run. So you can come downhill right now. So he's aggressive because of that.
Has flat control. Watch how fast this safety flies up into the line, leaving just the corner right there to keep everything in this deep third. All right, and it's a huge play, but they get outside for a first down. All right, first trip in the red zone for the Seahawks on the first drive. This is also the first drive. Look at this, 3-by-1. I know that's Cooper Kupp. Shaheed right there, down safety again to a 3-by-1 set. Okay, look at the 3-by-1.
Again, Where's the corner? He's playing off, so he's in zone. Okay? Just
One set, outside zone, right? Look how fast this safety goes up, and there's all this space. All you have to do is clear out this safety, right? So they get very little gain right here. But the fact is, Klint Kubiak knows it's going to be single high zone. Here's the touchdown. They've been setting it up all game, starting a 2x2, but we're going to short motion over here to Barner. Okay, they're in a single high zone. There's one safety high. Even better, the corners.
Aha! Aha! This is different. It's different. They are not in cover 3. They might have had a pre-snap if they come in trips with 2 tight ends to roll a cover 3. When they came in 2x2, they're not cover 3. This is single high
going motion right there,
man-to-man.
right?
All right. Here's even a better vision of it. All right. This linebacker, when this tight end's over here, he has him man-to-man. This safety has him man-to-man, and he has the back. Why is my mouse? He has the back man-to-man, all right? Now, watch when the tight end motion, and watch the quick alignment shift. Linebacker shuffles over because he has running back now. This linebacker bumped. He has tight end. This guy has tight end. He has, single high safety. So it's single high, man under. It's not zone. Okay?
They're going to sell outside zone.
Now, this is the problem. And this is why this fucking play worked. Those first plays that Chase showed was running plays. They were successful. They were successful going towards this part of the game with running the ball. So the onus is on that linebacker. His eyes has to read through him to the ball. Because they were gashing him with the run game, he forgot whom his guy was, which is right there. It's obvious, and even when I saw it live, that linebacker had that tight end. Let's go slowly. He runs right by him. See how he knows he has him? He's trying to put his hands on him right there. Because here's the deal. If he didn't have him, he would run through 72 and try to make this running back not get to the perimeter and cut inside. He knew right now he messed up. Right there, he knew he's messed up. It's not on the corner. Even if they was in cover 3, I'll show you, and he shows an end zone cut.
Flat
That's
defender
not the corner.
and the hook curl defender. They've been setting this up.
It's not. It's not. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me show you what he was saying. Because he's right in essence, but he's wrong in this situation.
Right? They're going to sell outside zone. You sell outside zone. What do we say about the flat defender and the hook curl defender? They've been setting this up all game long.
So, first of all, that would not be the flat defender's route. That would be the corner's route. The corner would squeeze the receiver. And here's the reason why it's not the flat guy route. I want people to understand this. Since that tight end went up the field and ran we call it a switch route. Since he went up the field on the switch route, that's not the flat defender's guy. Now, it would be the flat defender guy if number one ran a seam route and the tight end ran an out and up. Because the flat defender would have seen him in the flat. And once he turns up, you have to carry him because this receiver is driving the corner away. Since the tight end did not go to the flat, That's not even the flat defender's
They've been saying this.
responsibility. That would be the corner's responsibility. He will see the tight end with the switch route. He will pass the outside receiver to the safety, and he will be on the tight end. So even if it was cover 3, it's still not right. Now, this is when you know a guy has effed up. Watch him get on his horses. He's like, damn it. That's
Up
my man.
all game long.
He would not be
wide
chasing that
open.
hard if it was not his man. That's his man.
Touchdown. Let's see it from the back view because it's even better right there. You're going to get in a 2x2
He has him. See ball, go get ball.
formation, right? You're going to motion Barner over. Once you motion Barner over, okay,
51.
now you get it right here. You get a
Pass the tight end. And 51 knows he has a tight end. He's trying to engage him right there. And now he's like,
insert,
I'm done.
boom. Flat defender.
Look, he's not even looking at the ball anymore. He's not. He know he has that tight end. He didn't expect the tight end to release. He never looked at the ball. Look at the tight end. Look at 51. He never looks at the ball because he knows that's not his job. So with all that said, it's great play calling.
Flat defender
But
as the down safety, not so fast.
That's
He
not
is going
accurate. That's not the safety's fault. The safety has this tight end, and he's doing his job as he was coached to do. So, just want to show that because it's great play calling, great execution. Honestly, it is great breakdown of the situation. But that last play was not against zone. That last play was against man-to-man. And that linebacker made a mistake that the majority of linebackers would make. The majority of linebackers would make that mistake. Because in that part of the game, the way they was running the rock, you trying to stop the run. No problem with 51 coming downhill. You can see him engage and trying to engage with the tight end. He just didn't do a good job of executing his engagement, and the tight end slipped by. And once he's going away from you, it's ball game. So, just want to show that and say kudos to Chase Daniels on this breakdown. I thought it was awesome. Just a little mistake at the end. That was not zone. That was man. How do you think Will Steiner's staff will do? Patrick, here's the deal. I like Will Stein and their approach right now. I like their hitting high school recruiting hard. I think that's our best option with the way the landscape of college football has changed. Let's see if their evaluation and if these kids come to Kentucky is accurate. It's players, 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 players. When you get the right players that fit your scheme and fit what you want to execute on both sides of the ball and fit the culture you want to create, you can win games. Stoops proved that. Once the culture is broken, we had the last 2 seasons that we had at Kentucky. It's that simple. So I like the approach. I like that the fans are enthused. Let's see what happens on Saturday. Because, again, players, 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 players. That's it. Simple as that. So, we'll see. We'll see. as I was these last few days, as I was scrolling Twitter, man, it something something that what did I write there? Okay, there's a few things though. Something that is just interesting, and I don't understand why people get triggered by certain stuff. There's, if y'all don't know, I am a track guy. I'm a track guy that play football. I love track. I sit here and I have watched, I think it's the indoor track meets at Idaho the last couple of weeks. Um, I watch indoor track, I watch track period. If track is on, and the great thing about it now, ESPN carries a lot of stuff. Also, YouTube carries some stuff. And I have a couple athletes, an athlete really, in college that's competing. And I try to watch her high jump. Um, there's a guy, when I was in Chicago, I had a buddy tell me about Tony Holland. I think he was at Plainfield South or North, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's a high school coach. And I'm not gonna get into the weeds of, but he's a really good high school coach. And apparently a good teacher. I think he's a chemistry teacher. But Tony has a way, his belief in training speed or doing track workouts is speed first. And his workouts are short. And he's driven by data. And he made a comment. Kansas State off-season workouts had the guys running sprints. And he posted something about the sprints. It was basically just, if you're not timing the sprints, you are not getting the most out of the exercise. That was it. And people got triggered. And I don't understand why. He didn't say the workout sucked. He didn't say, I can't believe they doing this stupid shit. He didn't say any of that. But people got triggered. Why do we feel like we have to post under everybody's shit? And be negative about it. You could ask the question, Tony, what did you mean by that? Tony, why did you say that? Tony, do you see something wrong with the workout? Is the work whatever? It's like people getting out of pocket about it. We need to do better. Communication is so important. Just if you feel like you have to say something, give yourself an hour or maybe 10 minutes and then go back to it and see if you feel the same way. Because it just makes, in my opinion, it makes you look bad for trying to read between the lines that there was no lines to read between. I don't understand why we've gotten to the level. I understand social media where, like, I guess I did it with Chase Daniels. Like, I could see something, but it's not like, Chase Daniels, you dumbass. I can't see. It's like, come on, man. Why we have to go to that level? For a guy who's been a great track coach for years, I think he knows a little bit. But why not just ask him questions? Which leads to this, y'all. The other thing is, how do I talk about this a lot? I'll say this, man. There's a lot of great things about my dad, but one thing I can say that has really, really shaped my perception of the next generation is he never got down on my generation. I know I've said it here before. The things that my dad did in the 70s, you would not be able to do in 2020s. I want y'all to understand. My dad, I think his senior year, 17 years old. I'll just say this. My parents are from a real country town, Woodville, Mississippi. I think they have 1,000-some people in the city. So the lady, I think it was a lady, the lady who had the bus route that went and picked up the kids in my dad's part of town. And remember, this is rural. Something happened to her and she couldn't handle the route. Now, my dad got a CDL. They had vocational training. He got his CDL. So since his where he lived was in the boonies, it was best for someone who already lived there to drive. So my dad at age 17 was responsible for taking kids to school. Think about this. Waking up early enough, picking everybody in his community, in his area of town, taking them to school. Okay? When school ended, he has football practice. He had to take the bus, drop those kids off, and drive the bus back to school, and then go to practice. Do you think any parents in 2026 would allow a 26-year-old to drive their kids to school? So different time, different expectations, different requirements, different things that people will allow people to do. So I can't remember. I wrote it down. I don't think I bookmarked it. Let me see if I bookmarked it. I don't think I bookmarked it. Let me see. I did bookmark it. Oh. So this coach, Coach Hill, said, how come 20 years ago we used to have 3 football practices a day during the summer and our parents never said a word about mental health? And I don't think that was meant in a negative way. But just because we did shit back in the day does not make it right. I will say this. I know this. I played with a couple players, some in Little League and some later on. If mental health was a thing, both those guys would still be alive right now. No doubt about it. If therapy was accessible to those 2 men, they would be still here with us right now. So just because mental health, just because doing 2-a-day practices, just because 3-a-day practices, just because XYZ was allowed then doesn't make it right. That doesn't make you tougher. Doesn't make you stronger. That's just was the times that we were dealt with. Same way, I highly dislike my peers talking about kids in NIL and their perceived love for the game, etc. There are the majority of kids still love the game of football. Now, there are some who trying to get their money. But here's the thing. I said this before. There were guys I played with, and there were guys on other teams that I know only played football for that scholarship. It's the same damn thing. And I will say this. I've been asked this question. I'm not sure what I would have done raised in the current climate of sports, how my thought process, how different it would be today. My thought process came from the 80s. It came from, I had young parents, teenage parents, and the climate of everything was different. I said this last week, the week before. When I was a kid, me and my cousin rode our bikes back and forth to each other's house all day in the summer. All day, every day. I used to have to, now if you don't know, I had to cross I had to cross Choctaw, I had to cross Plank Road. Those were all 4-lane streets for 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. Every day. It was about 3-mile trip, 4-mile trip to each other's house every day. Burger King back in those days when they first got the self-serve fountain, they had that self-serve fountain on the opposite side of the cash register. There was a wall. Cash register was here. The drink thing was there. They had a back door and a side door. My cousin and I used to go through the back door, fill our water bottles up, and hightail out and go back and forth all day. So that's what we did as kids. As I said, what I said this earlier that was our base training in sports. Right? But that was also kids getting out of the house. I wouldn't let my kid do that nowadays. Right, Stephen, uphill both ways and snow. No damn well in snow and Baton Rouge. But I wouldn't let my kid do that now. The times have changed. It's no way if my son had a cousin where my cousin lived, there's no way he would be able to ride that every day. I would have driven him over to his house, or his parents would have driven him over to our house. That's how you do things nowadays. The times have changed. The kids haven't changed. The times have changed. Now we are hypersensitive of someone grabbing your kid. So the times have changed. So just because we had 2-3 days back in the day, they don't have that anymore in the NFL. The union, the CBA changed that shit. The roster sizes are different. If I played now, I would have played in the NFL for 6-7 years. The times have changed. I'll tell you the reason why I didn't play as long, because when I played, practice squad was just created. And since I played all 16 games my rookie year, I was ineligible for practice squad. So I had to be on someone's active roster. Nowadays, you can be on a practice squad. You can be a 20-year vet. I would have been on somebody's practice squad every year. I would have been on the Rams practice squad my second year. But since I was already, active for 16 games, I was ineligible to be on the practice squad. Times are different. 3 days doesn't happen anymore. 2 days in full pads, both days, doesn't happen anymore. Having 4-hour practices, you can't do that anymore in college. Dude, y'all, when I was at Kentucky, we had 25 period practices. We got to like period 23, which is 2 hours practice. And we had a bad practice. And Coach Curry said, we are starting practice all over. You can't do that nowadays. You just can't. So I hate it when people say, well, in my day, we did this. So we couldn't drink water. They didn't have, when I was in Little League, we didn't even work. We were not allowed to drink water. Can you imagine the amount of kids now that have heart problems or whatever, and they pass out because someone is sued? It's like Kirk Signetti. Kirk Signetti say they have hour and 30-minute practices. They have 20-minute walkthroughs on Monday and Fridays. If you are organized and efficient and there's no dead time, you can have a short practice. There's no reason to be out there three hours. There's no reason to be out there 2.5 hours. Especially in college when guys only play one way. Because you playing best on best. There's nobody who is the safety that plays running back or the linebacker that plays running back. The quarterback plays corner or safety. None of that. Your whole offensive line plays defensive line or whatever. 4 to 5 play defense. That doesn't happen. So you don't need to be out there 2+ hours. We were out there a long time. That was the mantra back when I played. That doesn't make it right. Kirk Signetti doesn't practice long. He's not the first. He's just the last one to win doing that. Steve Spurrier didn't practice that long. I think Anthony White said that Hal Mumme didn't practice that long. Don't think just because you did, and I'm going to say this. Like even the generation before me in basketball want to talk about how rough basketball was. Yes, you had some guys on your bigger teams that will fight people. You still have people that's going to fight even now. But there was people back there that didn't want to fight either. So don't make it seem like everybody in the NBA back in the 80s were fighting. Bullshit. Now, the difference, in my opinion, in all these things nowadays is we know each other. We either played on AAU basketball together. We play on whatever circuit, but whatever. In football, we go to the same camps. So we create a relationship where it's not that, oh, that's the guy that everybody talks about. Oh, fuck him because he's not that good. You know him. You've seen him play. Y'all have formed a relationship. So the animosity doesn't sit there. I've seen some tough kids. The kids are not soft now. They just have relationships with people. And I'm not going to fight my friend over a football game. It's like the old story with Kevin Garnett and Melo. Melo gets hot. Melo, after the game, waiting on KG to get out of their locker room, their press conferences and all of a sudden. And KG walks out and say, Melo, over a game? Like, that to me is where it is. These kids, these athletes know each other more than you knew them in the 80s. And also when you play in the 80s and even some of the 90s, you stayed on the team a long time. So you create a rivalry against another team with another player. And that team is preventing you from making extra money by beating you in the playoffs or beating you in whatever the championship game is. The days are different, man. And that animosity is not as strong as it was when I played. Like, I say this all the time, especially in high school. When I play high school sports, let's say track, we're in not a big state, but a decent sized state. All I knew about track guys, per se, was in the Baton Rouge area. I didn't know everybody up in Shreveport, didn't know anybody in Lafayette, didn't know what people were doing in New Orleans. All I knew is what people were doing in the Baton Rouge metro area. Period. So when I went to face somebody, kind of it, if you really think about it, we became kind of regional within our state. I want to show North Louisiana that we in South Louisiana, we dope. So you also had that angle. I It's just different, y'all. These kids are not soft. The kids just know each other. All these basketball players have probably played with the majority of players that sort of in their age bracket. And more importantly, the crazy part about it, the older players know about the younger players. The older players might have mentored the younger players. The younger players might have gone to a workout with an old vet when he was in high school or college. So the animosity is not there anymore. There is no longer the Jordan rule with the Pistons. Those days are over. That doesn't make the product worse because guys are not fighting. We just saw, was it yesterday, where there was like 2, 3, 4 fights? Isaiah Stewart is a fighter. He wants all the smoke. All of it. So, just because we did it a certain way doesn't mean it was the right way and doesn't mean it should be repeated. I'll say this for all track people. The way we train the 400 when I was running the 400 is not how we train. It's not how I train, will train 400-meter runners now. There's evolution to all this. Now, there's some things that I like that we did when I ran. I would modify, tinker with it, and do it now. But I'm not going to run the exact same workouts that we ran when I was young. I think it's counterproductive now. First of all, we were not as smart. Second of all, we don't have the resource. We didn't have the resources. Third of all, a kid now can type online and see what's the best 400-meter workouts today and be like, wow, we doing this crazy shit. A kid can chat GPT, good 400-meter workout, and be like, Coach, why don't we do these kind of workouts? Saying that, so now back in the day, a coach would give you a workout without explaining to you why we're doing this workout. Now, honestly, you got to explain a little bit of why we're doing this workout. What's the goal and what are we going to accomplish with this workout? To a certain point. Times have changed. And it's not the kids' fault. It's our fault. Because like I said earlier, my kid is not riding a bike across town like I rode the bike when I was a kid. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And that's not my son and daughter's fault. That's on me. Because they don't know anything other than me telling them they ain't doing that. Right? So, I don't know. So, here's the other thing. So, with that becomes comparison to thief of joy. Like sometimes your kids say, well, next door lady lets their kid. Well, that's not my kid. But I read something the other day, and this is confusing to me, y'all. This is how crazy fans are. So, I saw something that said someone posted about Kansas beating Arizona and not storming the court. And someone said that's a big blue whatever activity, or big blue whatever, a blue bloods thought process, sort of that vein, right? And they don't know of any other blue blood that's done that. And Kentucky fans say, well, we haven't done that. So like we're different, right? Like we don't storm courts for winning games against big competition because that's yeah. I don't know why my thing disconnected, but I'm back up. I thought we were different than everybody else. Why do we have to put students in the all over the court like Kansas and Duke does? We do have students on the court now. Like I said before, we used to not have students on the court. We used to be up in the second level. But at least now I have students on the court. It might be in the back, but at least they're close to the action. We have a different atmosphere. That's just what we are. Now I understand some of the old people tell y'all to sit down and all that stuff. That's BS. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, I thought we was proud about doing what we do, not what everybody else does. So we can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh, we don't storm the court because we are Kentucky. And we can't say, well, we need to be like other people because that's what they do. Make it make sense. Y'all, that's all I got. I got one more video. I'm going to say this. If this happened to you, I don't know. You have to, I don't know what you can do. You got to hide this film. This tape cannot be shared, but thank God we have it right here. Now, I'm going to say one thing. This girl is a wrestler. Not a wrestler, a wrestler. Because she is doing a heck of a job. When she got him in a headlock, what? Let me go back. When I watched the film live, and I said, when he grabbed her, I'm like, oh, it's ball game. When she put that foot right there, I'm like, she knows what she's doing. Now, I didn't expect it to end the way it ended. But when she put that foot there to prevent him from picking her up, I'm like, she knows what she's doing. And then she hit him with the, oh my God. I'm like, what can you do right now as a dude? She got you pinned in front of all your boys. That is awesome. I'm telling you, when she had that foot preventing him from lifting her up, I like, she knows what she's doing. She knows this is not her first rodeo. Peanut butter. You kind of late, my brother, but I'll take your question. They should definitely move the students right up to the floor on the baselines. Then great grandma can still have her front row seat on the sideline, so she can. No problem with that. But I thought we was Kentucky. We don't have to do what everybody else does, peanut butter. I don't mind that either. But we can't have it both ways. We can't champion that we're not everybody in certain aspects, but then not all aspects. That's all I'm saying. Can't have it one way and change and flip the script on other things. That's just all. I understand. I totally get it. But if we are Kentucky, we don't need the students to be on the sideline because we are Kentucky. And I honestly don't think we are not as loud of a stadium because the students are not on the court. And I end with this. I like playing on the road. Personally. I like fans getting loud because the louder you get is when we start whipping that ass and it gets quiet, it makes the feeling that much greater. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good rest of your week. And see y'all tomorrow. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Locker. Me and Anthony White. The Locker 411, all social media platforms. I will see y'all tomorrow.